Hello, my name is Sandy Adamitis, the social media director for the Page International Screenwriting Awards, and your host for the Writers Hangout, a podcast that celebrates the many stages of writing, from inspiration to the first draft, revising, getting a project made, and everything in between. We'll talk to the best and the brightest in the entertainment industry and create a space where you can hang out, learn from the pros, and have fun. Hi, I'm Sandy Adamitis.
Hi, I'm Terry Sampson.
How are you, Terry, in this lovely, lovely June day?
It's July, so better than when I was in June. Older. That's really the answer.
Older, okay. What do you think happened with me there? Do you think it's a serious problem?
The growing old thing.
Oh, okay. I got it. The gloves are off here at the Writers Hangout. Terry, today we're going to talk about judges' comments
From the big contests.
The Writers Hangout is sponsored by the Page International Screenwriting Awards. Yay!
It's our favorite.
They are our favorite. They're a wonderful screenwriting competition, and I highly recommend the writers out there enter the competition. It is tough to get your script read and taken seriously if you don't have a track record. And Page does that, and they're winning scripts. The writers really go on to big things, and some of their winners are Bill Dubuque. He wrote the movie The Accountant with Ben Affleck. The Judge with Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Duvall. And Robert Duvall was nominated for a Golden Globe, I think, for that.
Fabulous.
Bill Dubuque is such a talent. He created the hit series Ozark.
Oh, really?
On Netflix, yes. Jason Bateman, Laura Linney, Julia Gardner, really popular.
I've seen every episode. I really loved it.
Oh, Bill's quite talented, isn't he?
Super talented, and I love with me in concepts, I love the idea, and I don't think this ruins it for anybody. You've got people out of their element, panicked most of the time.
Love
it's
that
so great.
Genre. A panicked fish out of water is the
great.
best.
It's a lovely thing.
Then there's Stephen Canals, who created Pose for FX.
Oh, great.
Pose was just one of those series that broke all the rules. I loved it. And this week, Page winners Dan Fry and Rue Summer. We should just say congratulations on the release of their Disney feature Descendants, The Rise of the Red, that's being released this week on Disney+.
Huge week. How about that?
Yeah, amazing, amazing winners. And you can go on pageawards.com and they have a success page. Do you have a success page, Terry?
Yeah, it looks like this, and I'm holding up a blank page of paper.
And it's so small, it's a Post-it note. Now, when the Page judges read a script, they have 10 things that they have to keep in the back of their mind, and then they'll get a score sheet with these 10 criteria on it. And they will score. And the criteria are premise concept, and that's the idea behind the story, what the movie is about, the hook, as they say, presentation, standard spec screenplay or teleplay format, using Courier font, as well as spelling, punctuation, grammar, and usage. Structure, the framework of the script. Plot, the action, events, conflicts, and turning points that propel the story forward. How the story unfolds. Pacing, the timing of action, unfolding of plot, elements, and pace of character development. Characters, personalities that are distinctive, compelling, multi-layered, and unpredictable. A protagonist, an antagonist, and clear and active goals. Dialogue, voices that are natural, succinct, and unique to each character. Use of language that effectively reveals character and moves the story forward. Theme, the underlying message of the story as revealed through plot, dialogue, and visual elements. Style, tone, Overall quality of the writing, tone that is appropriate to the material, and narrative that is distinct, cinematic, and effectively conveys the mood or feel of the movie. You can take notes on what I'm saying, but this is all written on the Page Awards website. Marketing potential. Ooh, this is the one that, can get your, back up. Audience appeal and box office potential. I only say that because if you've spent 6 months writing in blood, sweat, and tears,
covering all these previous things
you're just like, no, it's going to sell. This is my baby. Right. I don't care that you don't think it has potential. It has a lot of potential.
Right.
Okay. After the judges fill out these scorecards, they write comments. I run their social media for Page Awards, and we do posts with judges' comments. And the writers just love reading the comments. You only know what genre it is. As Page gets ready to make their quarterfinalist announcement on July 15th, they roll out these comments, and the writers seem to get a kick out of them. So I thought that maybe our writers would also be interested in hearing these comments. And what we're going to do is take a comment from scoring from judge number 1 and scoring from judge number 2. If judge number 1 passes you along to judge number 2, judge number 2 passes you along to judge number 3, your scores add up. So
neither of these judges are Judge Reinhold.
No, nor are they Judge Hirsch.
Okay, good. It's good for everyone to know that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we thought it would be cool to read 2 separate judge comments on one script. And then you and I can discuss maybe what the writer could do to improve, or maybe there's no hope.
Well, I'm curious about how how close they are in their comments. So
we're gonna find out.
To find out, yeah.
So I'm gonna read the first round, and Terry is gonna read the second round comment. And this first one is from a TV drama judge. TV dramas can be different formats.
Sure.
It's an hour drama. So these.
Did you give me the smart judge by any chance? Or?
You got Judge Reinhold. Okay. I got Judge Hirsch. I'm Judge Hirsch.
So I got the funny judge.
You're Judge Reinhold. You got the funny judge. I got the serious judge.
Everyone loves the funny judge. You're so helpful. Life in prison? What? That's hilarious.
I know. You get solitary. You get solitary. You get solitary.
Everyone gets
solitary. Okay. Judge Hirsch. While this script is a little derivative in places, the writing is good, the structure is on point, and the fun plot and fast pace of the story draws us in. Another project about superheroes may not be marketable at this point, but the writing here is so professional and compelling, this is worth a look by another judge. Okay, so the very first round, this judge likes it.
Yeah.
It's fun with superheroes. That's good. You want to have some fun.
Yeah, they fly and everything.
Yeah. I mean, you could have a very serious superhero script, but that's not what this is.
Right.
And the story draws you in, so I'm going to say they like the characters. They liked the plot. I would think from my script, I would say, yes, the judge is worried that the world is saturated with superhero scripts. And also what you have to worry about is the best of the best is doing superheroes right now. Marvel.
Sure.
DC.
Yeah, so there's a commanding leader in this. And so your chances of taking over
right.
going to be
It's
long.
Not impossible.
Right.
Your script could be that special that it rises to the top of the pile. But if you're head of development at Warner Brothers and you got 2 scripts on your desk, and the last one was Zach and Ashley, who wrote a Thor movie, that script's going to get picked up first. It's heartbreaking, but there is what the business is about.
Yes, there's previous victories mean something.
But another upside, which, you know what, I'm going to leave that upside till after you read Judge Reinhold's Judge Number 2 comments.
Here goes on Judge Number 2. This pilot has a lot going for it. It starts off with a bang, and there's a lot of energy throughout. The structure and presentation are solid, and the plotting is excellent. However, there's also a concern that we've seen so much of the same thing before. Many of the characters feel interchangeable and lack real depth. And I fear the show isn't special enough with viewers that it would be compelled for viewers to tune in to watch it week after week.
So that's 2 different judges, and they are laser focused.
Yes, they definitely say that a superhero show is going to be tough to market.
Yes. Now, this could win in a contest because the writing is so freaking amazing.
Yes, it's not a movie, it's a script.
Right. And second, if this writer wants to write on the 100 television shows that are currently superhero TV shows, fabulous writing sample.
Mm-hmm.
This writer has not wasted their time.
Right.
Not 1 second of their time.
If they should win, either he or she, they will move on to something great.
Absolutely.
So they just are now known as somebody who wrote something really great.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. We like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, historical film. The telling of a true story from the past. What would you consider a historical film?
Tom Hanks and Apollo 13.
Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, Judge Number 1. This is what they said about this historical film submitted to the Page Awards. This period feature has an awesome presence, powerful themes, and really intriguing characters. And apart from a few lengthy expositional monologues, the dialogue excels and is often very entertaining. Problems here are that the first act is way too long, plot and pacing tends to drag, and the history backstory is sometimes difficult to follow. Despite these issues, I'm advancing the script to the next round based on its very real strengths.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I also think the thing that was brought up in the end, the history backstory, is the trickiest thing to deal with in a historical.
Right.
I mean, the specifics and what do you reveal? Do you have time for it? The story's going to have to go forward, but yet things have to be established. I see that as being a tricky thing, and so did Judge Number 1.
Right.
Let's see how I feel about it, though.
Let's see how you feel about it. With regards to that,
yeah.
What happens with a writer, and you're not alone, writers, when this happens to you. If you're writing historical drama, you're going to be doing a ton of research. And if you haven't done a ton of research, it's about a family member because you have to do tons and tons of research. You don't want one point of view in your screenplay. You've got to go to all different sources. And then as you're reading, you find things like, and he kept a rabbit in his hat on the holidays. And you go, oh my God, I love the rabbit in the hat holidays. That has to be in my script. And sometimes it just doesn't fit and it kills you. But that's where Kill Your Darlings come in from Stephen King, his famous quote, you got to get it out there. First draft, put it all in. Your historical drama could be 200 pages long, your first draft. I'm not kidding. Now, what does you say, Judge Number 2?
I'm going to say that this vibrant, character-rich historical epic could make such an amazing movie. Sadly, and here's some sadness, the plot is all over the place. I had to reread some sections multiple times to understand what was going on. There was some dense expositional dialogue here with several extremely confusing conversations, all of which shows the forward movement of the story. The writer has such a powerful premise and some very appealing characters, but needs to work on the structure and clarity of the story in order for the script to reach its full potential.
Can you point out, do you see the 2 words that are the exact same? Expositional.
Oh, yes.
Expositional.
Yeah, fun to say and matching.
And matching. One says lengthy expositional monologues and dense expositional dialogue. Now, I, as a writer, if I got that note, I would be thrilled because I could just go back and edit the dialogue.
Right.
How
great is that note? Yeah. Twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
Another thing that page does is if you pay extra when you enter, you can get judges' comments. You can get judges' notes. Yeah, that is an easy fix. I think the history backstory, that would be really painful, but they could fix that. Mm-hmm. Intriguing characters, powerful themes are just glorious to me in my book.
Yeah.
Now, if this writer, what is difficult about these screenwriting competitions is this writer may never know these comments and say this incredible script, their journey ends and they don't place in the competition. They're never going to know how good they are, actually. I mean, I hope they know and their friends tell them and they know themselves. They know who they are as a writer.
Yeah, that doesn't actually last forever. This is my personal stance on something like that.
Okay.
I believe that enthusiasm and certainty in a person is like money. It gets spent over time. If you don't hear from other people about how good the work you're doing is, at some point you go, I'm just not doing it.
Yes.
You get a little something and then you get some bad news or no news for a few years and you go, where am I in this?
Yeah.
So it would be great to hear from the notes, wouldn't it?
Right. And
Either way.
I have a feeling that every judge goes through this throughout the process, wanting to just call up the writer personally and go, I couldn't forge your script, but you are so talented. Please do not stop. Okay, so that was historical film, and this is our last one, thriller horror. And this is what judge number 1 wrote about this thriller horror. In many ways, this is a highly effective survival thriller. It sports a cool atmosphere, strong structure, solid plot, and fast pace, and I think it definitely deserves to move forward to the next round. On the flip side, the 2 lead characters are pretty predictable and uninteresting, which is a pretty big problem. Ultimately, in order to find traction in the industry, I think the writer will need to develop these characters to make them more appealing to professional actors.
Huh. It's really, I haven't written a horror film. Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't start out writing a horror film. Sometimes they just kind of turn into this. It's the odd thing about me. But I think that it's tough to make a rounded character under those circumstances.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
Right.
I'm sure I never really watch horror movies, but I'm sure that the great ones somehow figure something out.
Yes.
To fatten the moment there, if you will.
Especially with the multitudes of horror genres that we have right now, it's really hard to... Betty running across a field.
She's screaming.
She's screaming. She falls into a bear trap.
Oh, no. The screaming is louder.
The man with the hatchet is right behind her. It is hard. It is hard. What did judge number 2 say, Terry?
This is a nice big fastball setup for a movie with a solid premise and 2 huge lead roles. It's a script that I could imagine getting picked up and produced. And it's decent, but I just don't love it.
Oh.
I find these 2 characters unlikable. And their bickering is unpleasant. It's tough to hang out with them on the page, and I have zero desire to spend 2 hours watching them on the screen. So, although this screenplay definitely has its strengths, in its current iteration, I have a hard time getting behind it.
Oh, goodness.
You see there's 2, this is so good that you've picked these. This one, the guy's saying, you need these guys to develop, and the other guy's going, oh, they're developed. I hate them.
I hate them, yeah.
Honestly, both of those are needed to fix, if the writer wanted to fix this. Because he would go, okay, I've made them unlikable, so that's going to have to change.
Right.
And in the action of making them likable, they're going to be bigger.
100%. And since there's two, maybe only one has to be made likable.
Yeah. The other one can stay a stinky
Exactly.
head.
I can see how this writer got into this predicament with regards to they bicker too much on the page and I don't like being there. Because that is a trope, isn't it?
I think if you funnel the bickering into a situation more, like we're arguing about a problem, that seems to be a plus.
Yes.
If you're just arguing amongst each other because you don't like each other or something, that's one thing. But pressure causes bickering.
Yes.
So you can keep this tension, but they can both like each other's coat.
Like each other's
Coats and the way they dress. And
Oh,
everything else,
yes.
you know,
The jib
whatever.
of their,
Yes.
the cut of their jib.
Yes, their jibs can be very...
They can be cut.
They love their jibs.
Yes. I wonder if the two leads are a married couple.
Oh,
Yeah, because that bickering can get on your nerves.
yes.
Because I've dated couples. Now, I'm not saying a throuple. I'm just saying over the years, I've become friends with a woman, and then I like her husband, and the three of us get along, and we'll go to the movies together. We'll go to the restaurant. We'll lift a glass of wine together. And
After those glasses of wine...
Yeah, a couple who wants you to weigh in on their bickering.
Oh.
I don't.
No, you can't be the judge of that. We're judges here, but that's the only time.
That's the only time. And then afterwards, when I see them both individually, I tell them that they were right.
Oh, that's nice of you.
So I get along with my couple friends. Well, one thing that's jumps out at me is nobody saying not thrilling, not scary. That's a great thing for this writer.
Yeah.
There's no problem with a lot of your script, but the problem with your script is pretty darn big.
Right.
And you could fix that in a rewrite. You could fix that in a rewrite if you're a Stephen King, 20 minutes. You thought I was going to say 24 hours, didn't you?
I think that's funny. He's quick, right?
He's possibly one of the
Prolific?
One of the most well-known prolific writers. I'm sure there's a lot out there in an attic right now who can beat Stephen King. Also, for the writers out there, you can go on the Page Awards socials, which is Page Awards on Twitter and Page Awards on Facebook and on Instagram, and there is a month's worth of judges' comments across social media. I hope you had fun, writers.
I really enjoyed this a lot, and I think I learned something, and that almost never happens. And that's a wrap for the Writers Hangout. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Your positive feedback will help us keep the show going so we can continue bringing you more future episodes. Remember, keep writing. The world needs your stories. The Writers Hangout is sponsored by the Page International Screenwriting Awards with executive producer Kristen Overn, producer Sandy Adamitis, and myself, Terry Sampson. And our music is composed by Ethan Stoller.